What up, y'all? It's Dominic369 for Occultism Unleashed. Today is Saturday, the day of Saturn. So we'll be using our planetary magic for personal transformation, not only to establish a strong foundation for ourselves, but to create boundaries, to create the necessary boundaries dealing with ourselves and the people that we interact with every day. Because oftentimes we allow ourselves to be influenced by outside forces. Again, I discussed this in depth before, that Saturn is seen as a negative planet in astrology, and everybody dreads a Saturn return and aspects from Saturn, but Saturn only constricts. It doesn't constrict. Saturn restricts. And you feel like you're being constricted or squeezed or pressured when you are trying to live outside of your due bounds. If you want to be familiar with your due bounds, you need to understand Saturn in your natal chart. Find the sign that Saturn is in your natal chart and find the house. The sign tells you how Saturn's energy is going to manifest, how it works within your chart. If you're not familiar with Saturn in Libra or Scorpio or whatever sign your Saturn falls in, you need to have the rulership book. The rulership book and probably keywords for astrology. They're definitely both essential to astrology and planetary magic. So when you're working with correct boundaries, so you stay within your due bounds, it's not about other people. Because when your boundaries are properly constructed, a person cannot cross over them. We're talking about energetic boundaries. We're talking about spiritual protection. Fortifying yourself with Saturn's energy. Not only so other people can't cross boundaries, but so you stay within your due bounds. When you operate within your perimeter, nothing seems like a constricting. You don't feel like the walls are closing in because you're never out of pocket. You're always moving in the space delegated for you by the universe. The color of Saturn is black. The number of Saturn is 3. The incense for Saturn is myrrh. The metal for Saturn is lead. Disclaimer, don't eat lead. Don't put it in no ointments or nothing that you rub on your body. Don't drop lead in your water trying to do water magic with planetary elemental magic and mix it with, planetary magic with Saturn using lead. It's easier to use charcoal. Charcoal is also ruled by lead, by Saturn. So use Saturn if you're going to use planetary magic in general for anything that you plan on consuming, whether it's planetary magic or combining elemental magic to make magical teas and stuff like that with water and fire and steam. You want to make sure that these are edible things that you're consuming. Please and thank you. Okay. So boundaries and foundations from Saturn. After you get those boundaries clear, you need to invoke Saturn to give you a strong, stable foundation where it's meant to be. And from that foundation, you start building out. Build out from that foundation. Add on around that foundation and build up. This is the secret to Saturn. Learning how and where to establish your foundation. My Saturn is in the 9th house. I establish myself in teaching and learning higher things, spiritual realm. When people talk about operating inside of their element, You need to operate inside of the element of your Saturn placement. This is where you get the most out of life. Saturn rules time, it rules old age, but Saturn also rules leadership and executive placement in businesses. You can't get to an executive position. You can't get to success in business if you are not aligned with your Saturn's energy. Take the time out to look at some of the most successful people in the world. Look at their natal charts. See if they operated within the scope of Saturn's boundaries in order to become successful. They may have not done it, all knowingly and willingly, but I assure you the people who align with the energies in their astrological charts, and you can tell from their chart that they're consciously aligned with the energy that the universe put in that human body. And they are successful, super successful, insanely successful. And like I said, everybody who practices magic and manifestation doesn't have to dress up and do a ritual. Some people aren't even conscious of it. They're just living according to their will. They're doing what's in their nature. They've had, the type of childhood that allowed them to be nurtured in certain areas. Some of you haven't, and that's okay. A foundation begins with one brick. Yes, I am a Mason. And you build a temple by placing a cornerstone. And from that cornerstone being set, if the cornerstone isn't set properly, then the foundation of the whole temple is flawed. That's in regular building and in Masonic building. You have to set the cornerstone of your life properly, according to Saturn's energy. And then you will be able to build up and out as far as you can imagine yourself going. Tomorrow's the last day. The sun, we're going to do some work to bring all this thing into conscious fruition. See you tomorrow. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and read the description in the comments and get the books that you need. Peace.